So I'm just testing this out. Um, I'm just testing this out, seeing how well this goes today with regards to testing out the technical challenges and difficulties related to streaming and recording audio online. Um, for those that don't know, my name is Larry Jackson. I am a mental health therapist, life coach, um, believer in Jesus Christ. Um, and for years, I've always stood on the premise point of whatever I do, making sure that God is incorporated in the process. Um, I That has not been met without challenges, trials, and tribulations. Um, um, to the extent that I believe at one point one company that I used to work for let me go just because I stood on my beliefs and because I signed a contract saying that I would not indicate who that company was. I have to remain anonymous. I have to keep their information anonymous. But it was a reminder to myself that um, that when you are standing for something, not everybody is going to stand with you, even if you mean no harm in your belief system. Um, Christianity in general, um, there is a spectrum of thought and messages that reinforce just about everybody's narrative. You know, whatever you got going on, there is a Christian message for it. And what, you know, it appears that whatever you do in life, there is some form of Christianity that reinforces it. I think that is a shame in life, but that comes along with the territory, right? Like there is no that comes along with diversity of thought, people having the freedom to choose and freedom to be. And one of the things that I bring up in my previous Bible studies, and I'll continue to bring up in hopefully current Bible studies going forward, is well, what is the truth? If being a Christian means you can be everything under the sun, you can be a drug, you can be a drug abuser, you can be a homosexual, you can hate hate people of different races and backgrounds. Um, um, you know, the list goes on. There's such an eclectic list of things that we think are universally um, taboo or non-biblical that is under the spectrum of Christianity. And I don't have a problem with anybody. I don't have a problem with the gambler, the drug abuser, the homosexual, or anything like that. And especially in my profession. In my profession, you know, anyone across the board gets the utmost empathy and respect. That no matter who you are, you deserve the utmost empathy and respect, no matter whether we disagree on or whether we disagree or we have different principles. You know, there is beauty in diversity, but there's also danger in diversity. In the sense that the beauty of it is realizing that everybody's entitled to their own opinion. One of the things I tell my clients, especially those who I do relationship counseling for, um, I tell them this premise point. I say that you have your truth, their partner has their truth, and then there is the truth. And these three triangles here, your truth, their truth, and the truth, are all valid in the human experience. Um, Even God Himself says um, that He understands our emotional dilemmas and our emotional perspectives, and He understands our thought process. He understands that sometimes all of us, based off of our own thought process and whims, end up going astray. And yet He has compassion. Yet He does not completely invalidate it. Um, And so our story, no matter how diverse, has validity. The question is how does it line up to the Bible as spiritual believers? And everybody's got their own opinion on it. But what keeps me humble, no matter who I'm dealing with, no matter whether I agree with their positioning, whether it be political or whether it be in contrast to what I believe are biblical principles, is that we can learn from everybody. As a matter of fact, in a podcast interview with Mike Dernan today, that's one of the things that we talked about is that to be able to learn from everybody. In another podcast that I did today, actually, I did 3 podcasts today. I was talking to Dennis Williams, and Dennis Williams, if you look at that podcast, at least the latter end of the podcast, he said some of the most profound things that helped me understand his message with regards to understanding God as a God of transformation. And he, I forgot what he said. It was such a bar. He said, we as people, we allow our beliefs to offend people. I forgot. You have to look at the podcast. But he said it so profoundly that oftentimes what we believe in or what we know to be true or what we think to be true gets in the way of us having an authentic, empathetic human experience with other people. And that right there keeps us all humble. That is the ministry of Christ. The ministry of Christ is not telling somebody who they are or who they're not. The ministry of Christ is being able to understand people where they're at and being able to speak to their heart where they're at rather than trying to make them come to where we are sometimes. It reminds me of one of my favorite movies by the late Robin Williams, What Dreams May Come. If anybody's ever seen that movie, it's called What Dreams May Come by Robin Williams, starring Robin Williams and Cuba Gooding Jr. And Cuba Gooding Jr. played one of Robin Williams. He played his son. And the synopsis of the story is Robin Williams is a doctor. His wife is an art dealer, collector, or creator, whatever. And anyways, the whole family dies. They die one by one. First it was the kids, then the wife gets depressed. She commits suicide. And then at the end, the father, Robin Williams, he dies. And they all go to their respective places. The kids go to heaven. Robin goes to heaven. And because the wife committed suicide, she goes to hell. Robin Williams, when he goes to heaven, he is looking for his wife. He sees his kids, and then he sees a daughter, then he sees his son, and then he's trying to find his wife. And unbeknownst to him, his wife is in hell. And so Robin Williams goes on a journey to find his wife in hell. And it is, I consider it one of the most beautiful, if I could use the word beautiful, love stories that I've seen. I haven't seen anything that trumps it. And the reason why I say that is in the storyline, Robin Williams goes all the way to hell. He goes through all the barriers, the layers, all the way to hell. He's being warned every step of the way that if you go to hell, you may not come back. And that it's not a place that you should even go to. But if you go to, you might not come back. He ignores all the rules. His wife, no matter what she did to herself, is the love of his life. And he chases her to hell. He finds her in hell. And when he finds her, she's hopeless. She's lost in depression. She's gone. Her mind is gone. Her hell is the state in which she left was the exact same state in which she found herself in a repeated fashion. So her hell was her being in a persistent state of depression that occurred before she committed suicide. And so you see her in this perpetual state of depression. And Robin Williams, he's trying to save her with positive words. He's trying to encourage her to jump out of the hell and come with him. And she won't leave. She's stuck. Her mind won't go anywhere. And it reminds me of how, as believers, we try to get people to understand the message of God, and we just wonder why we don't connect. The story keeps going further, and Robin Williams gets to a point where he just can't figure out how to get his wife out of hell because her mind is stuck where it's at. And then it dawns on him that rather than try to preach her out of hell or encourage her out of hell, that maybe he should sit in hell with her and endure the experience of it with her. And you see the storyline trickling down a little bit, whereas in he sits with her and he says, well, if I can't bring you out of it, then I'm going to sit with you in it. And boy, that almost brings me to tears. The idea that rather than try to bring people out of their state, coming down to their level and sitting with them in their state. There's something profound about that. Maybe that's why I enjoy being a therapist. To be able to sit with someone in their storyline, not to try to necessarily bring them out, but maybe just maybe they feel the comfort with someone sitting with them in their experience. And maybe that is enough to bring them out of their experience. Something profound about that. Sorry, I was recording it on the other end here. Something profound about that. Oh, here. Indicate. Oh, okay. And that's definitely a message to those who are believers in Jesus Christ. You know, I know that a lot of the time we get excited about the Word of God. We get excited about the experience of God. We get excited about this profound revelation that comes with knowing who God is and the liberty that it brings us. But I wonder if we ever took a step back and asked ourselves, what do people really need from us as it relates to them encountering God, them encountering God? Like what use do we have to those individuals? Is our best use to preach the message of the gospel to them? Or is the message to comfort them in their pain and perhaps they see the love of God in us through our behavior and not in our message or wording to them? Maybe the best acts of Christianity have nothing to do with the Bible, but to do with the effects of the Bible and how we live those things out. Those principles of love your neighbor as yourself. Principles of grace and mercy, how everyone needs grace and mercy. Maybe those are the more impactful things that we can bring to those who don't know Christ. And this is the encouragement not only to others, but just myself. You know, I'm looking at the video and looking at myself in the mirror. And I have to ask myself, as a believer in Jesus Christ, is what I do condemning? You know, when I talk to individuals about Christ, is it in the right way? When I talk about the Bible, when I speak through the Bible, am I speaking through the Bible in an empathetic way? Am I speaking through the Bible in a way that reaches people? Or when people hear me talk about the Bible, they feel automatically condemned? And then some people may argue that, well, if they feel condemned, it's because it's something in them. But what if they feel condemned because there's something in you that's not right, or me that's not right? Maybe we're so fixed on the principles of the Bible that we forget how to act in the principle of the Bible. Maybe we're so good at preaching the Bible that we're not good at living an example of what the Bible is trying to make us be, which is all good neighbors towards one another. That was the best, probably one of the best things I got from the interview with Dennis Williams today, is if you're a believer in Jesus Christ and you're not a good neighbor, then are you really a believer in Jesus Christ? It's one of the first commandments in Christianity, is to love your neighbor as yourself. If we don't have the capacity to love and have compassion on our neighbors, then do we really love God? There's one Bible passage that says that they will know that you know me based off of your love towards one another. Mm. So that being said, this is sort of a test run through. I wanted to see how far reaching this stream got. I'm trying to combine live streaming with actual recording it to possibly snippet this later on. So this is good. If you got feedback on that, give me your thoughts on that. Have you saw the movie What Dreams May Come? It's an old school movie. I love it. It is still profound to me till this day. The premise point behind it still sticks with you today. It's what they call an oldie but goodie. So, anyways, I got to go. I got to shift gears here. But if you enjoyed that, and if you enjoy these upcoming podcasts, please like and share. Otherwise, have a great day. God bless.